perhaps as runners-up in the Premier League, perhaps as European prize winners in August. Some of those 75,000 seats will be filled again. Were they filled tonight, the patrons would be excited, Jim Beglin, by the prospect of seeing Edinson Cavani from the start, Paul Pogba from the start. They'd be glad that Greenwood and Rashford are fit, having missed out on international games. It's a very attractive-looking Manchester United side.
Well, I was saying to you just a short time ago that that's something that's missing. I think we've not really seen, say, the quartet up top, or even Pogba if he links up with it. We've not seen them all firing in the one game, in a consistent run even. And they've not been able to sustain that, Manchester United, and perhaps that's what's holding them back at the moment and preventing them from kicking on and being able to compete right up there with City.
And of course, part of the narrative there, walking out in front of us, David De Gea, who has been overlooked from the start yet again. And the goalkeeping situation is a fascinating one. For Brighton, a familiar refrain. For the fourth year in a row since their promotion, they are afflicted by springtime butterflies. Nearly there, so very nearly there, but there are substantial rumblings beneath them, and the jitters will linger until the numbers say they are absolutely safe. Two massive March wins have them almost touching where they need to be, but it is still not quite done for Brighton. Manchester United, peaked though they have to be by the preeminence of their city rivals, march here with their own clarity of purpose. A clear view of the Premier League's silver medal, clear water between themselves and those who would deprive them of their Champions League ambition, and a clear vision of how they intend this season to climax. 7 weeks, 9 domestic games to play, a European adventure still unfolding prettily as well. It is a moment of opportunity for Manchester United, for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, truly to embrace. Well, Mr. Solskjaer and Potter will do well to match the drama of their last Premier League meeting, and they select as follows. Dean Henderson plays his 7th straight first-team game in goal. He does feel now like the number one. There had been some doubt about Victor Lindelof's fitness after activity with Sweden, but he is fine to play alongside England match winner Harry Maguire. Paul Pogba starts a Premier League game for the first time since February the 6th, so there's no place in the 11 for Scott McTominay. Mason Greenwood and Marcus Rashford missed out on England caps through injury, but they return for United now. Anthony Martial sprained his knee whilst playing with France, so Edinson Cavani comes back to replace him. Alex Telles is unwell, so absent from a United bench, which does have room for Daniel James. He had a fine week with Wales. Like David De Gea, Robert Sanchez has been a non-playing goalkeeper with Spain this last fortnight. With Dan Burns still not quite fit and Adam Webster still missing, it is an unchanged back line for Brighton after a controlled clean sheet against Newcastle. Adam Lallana has happy memories of this venue. Goals here for Southampton and Liverpool. Jakub Moder scored for Poland at Wembley on Wednesday. Leandro Trossard has scored in the last 2 league games and got 2 for Belgium in the week. And Danny Welbeck is, of course, a Premier League winner with Manchester United. And amongst Brighton's subs for the very first time, 19-year-old Ecuadorian midfield player Moises Caicedo. Jim.
Well, for United, I think based on Pogba's deeper inclusion alone, it seems like Solskjaer is trying to maximise his creative options, and those fitness worries, as you say, Peter, have eased. And for Brighton, they've improved their potency. 5 goals in 2 games is a big deal. And Welbeck, Maupay and Trossard tucked in behind is proving a lucrative alteration.
Many happy memories for Danny Welbeck, who was a part of the last title-winning team, overseen by Sir Alex Ferguson back in 2013 here. A reunion of leaders who were blinking back the extraordinary events when they met in Sussex in September. Edinson Cavani fit again. One of the great penalty area movers of the modern game. Mike Dean is the referee, his first visit here since sending off 2 Southampton players in United's 9-0 romp a couple of months ago. And society's painful battle against racism remains vigorous and vital. So much still to gain, so much still potentially, hauntingly to lose. United's top 4 berth seems secure. Brighton surely ought to have enough to be safe, but 9 games is nigh on a quarter of the season, and they each still have their targets to meet. It is April time, it's high-stakes stuff. Lots on it, Jim.
Well, there is, and I think the fact that Manchester United suffered lethargically in the FA Cup tie at Leicester, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to put a stop to that now, and there can be no below-par performances.
Here's Greenwood, in goes Cavani, flicked out wide for Rashford, who's going to be met by Ben White. Shaw, a little pass and move, smart exchange with Rashford. Shaw again, Maguire after his thumping goal for England against Poland. Goal that mattered too. Pogba has been involved in all 3 for France to various degrees. And will seek to be strutting again. Basuma comes across and makes the key intervention.
And he'll have eyes on Bruno Fernandes, of course, Basuma. That should be an interesting duel. And for Brighton, Peter, they still are attached. There is still that relegation risk.
And I've been very glad, as Newcastle will, to see Aston Villa come from behind to beat Fulham over the last couple of hours. Newcastle's equaliser would have given them some cause for angst. Rumblings from West Bromwich Albion, pretty loud rumblings yesterday, mean that they don't mean to go away. Here's Pogba. And it is all very well saying to a coach, a player, a manager of a team in the bottom 5 or 6, oh, you'll be fine. You're not fine until the points are on the board.
Yeah, you can't rest. Of course, the atmosphere, I'm sure, in Brighton's dressing room would have improved when that news came through about Fulham's defeat to Villa, as you just mentioned. But yeah, it's not gone away, and so they have to remain at their most professional focus to see it through.
Well, he certainly has. 9 Premier League games unbeaten. Manchester United under Ole Solskjaer. Knocked out of the Cup, of course, just before the international break, so all their domestic eggs are in this basket. But results, on the whole, have been kind for them this weekend. You wouldn't expect United to cheer a Manchester City win, but Leicester dropping points was good for them. Chelsea dropping points was good for them. Liverpool are back in the picture. West Ham have to play tomorrow. Sure.
Yeah, look, if you can't finish first, you try to finish second. I know it's stating the obvious, but the big thing for Manchester United now is the Europa League. That becomes huge.
Pogba, Rashford, Fernandes, Shaw, Rashford, Fernandes, who seems to have something personal against Brighton and Hove Albion. He's not been on the Premier League scene for long, but for as long as he has been around, he's been scoring against the Seagulls.
Yeah, well, that time Basuma was a little slow in getting to him, surprisingly, and I'm not surprised to see him try to unleash one.
3 goals, 1 assist in 2 league games against Brighton, Bruno Fernandes. One of those goals, of course, a penalty after the game had finished.
Yeah, I remember that back in September.
Good win by Lallana, who loves this place as well. In a strange sort of a way. Trossard trying to wriggle through. Lallana biting back in. Hoisted out by Maguire. Forward by Veltman, who operates again on the left side of a back 3 for Brighton in extremis. They're missing a couple of key centre-halves, or would-be centre-halves, in Byrne and Webster. Basuma is down, and in his absence, United can raid here with Shaw. Lallana made good his ground, and White held him up too.
Yeah, I think it's the landing. He looked as if he was bumped, Basuma. He wanted a free kick. I just wonder whether he's damaged his arm or shoulder in the way he fell. I think it's more arm.
Bissouma, who has been an absolute fundamental for Brighton this season, whose robustness and ball use in midfield has been a massive asset. He's missed very few games. One he did miss was that mightily exciting one against Manchester United in the immediate aftermath of a sending off at Newcastle right back at the start of the campaign. Graham Potter's not had a lot of luck with injury. I mentioned the two missing centre-halves. Of course, there's no Solly March either, nor for a long time Tariq Lamptey, so he's having to mend and make do with his wing-backs.
We've actually done very well for them. I mean, Christian Gross, we know, has that ability on the ball anyway, and technically he's very good. And Pascal Gross, and of course Moda on the other side is very adventurous. You know, he loves to make a forward run. Cavani's been over to say apologies for the bump. I didn't think it would lead to something like that for Bissouma.
He's still clearly feeling pain, though looks willing to try and battle on. Back with us, the Malian. Bissouma. Seen by Wan-Bissaka, prodded on by Pogba, taken up purposefully by Fred, threaded on by Bruno Fernandes, who was pondering the prospect of Cavani being offside. Sanchez with a twitchy clearance.
Well, it was meant for Lallana, and Lallana's just picked himself back up, and he's looked at him as if to say, what are you playing at?